was born in 1892 in the royal family as a prince. But he is born in like obviously a very political time in it, because this is around the time. This is just after the Berlin Conference in 1884, 1885, when the European nations were carving up Africa. Italy's invasion, during which Menelik the first was the king, and his Empress Taitu were leading that battle and these kinds of things. Yeah. So he's born in a particular kind of historical moment. So his life is really just defined by colonization and responses to colonization. He
Can
was.
I just?
Yeah, go.
Okay, go on, continue. Sorry, brother.
No,
I was just saying. Can I just read a bit of history about him, which I believe within myself is very accurate?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Haile Selassie I, his original birth name was Tafari Makonnen. He was born on the 23rd of July, 1892, near Harar in Ethiopia, Emperor of Ethiopia from 1930 to 1974, who sought to modernize his country and who steered into it the mainstream of post-World War II African politics. He brought Ethiopia into the League of Nations and the new United Nations and made Addis Ababa the major center for the Organization of African Unity, now African Union. You following so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tafari was a great-grandson of Saleh Selassie of Shua and a son of Ras, Prince Makonnen, a chief advisor to Emperor Menelik II. Educated at home by French missionaries, Tafari at an early age favorably impressed the emperor with his intellectual abilities and was promoted accordingly. As governor of Sidamo and then of Harar province, he followed progressive policies seeking to break the feudal power of the local nobility by increasing the authority of the central government. For example, by developing a solid civil service, he therefore came to present politically progressive elements of the population. In 1911, he married Wazira Menen, which we know as Empress Menen, a great-grandmother of Menelik II. A great-granddaughter, of Menelik II. When Menelik II died in 1913, his grandson Lij Yasu succeeded to the throne. So we're talking about a throne now, yeah? But the latter's unreliability and his close association with Islam made him unpopular with the majority Christian population of Ethiopia. Tafari became the rallying point of the Christian resistance, and he deposed Lij Yasu in 1916. Zaditu, Menelek's second daughter, therefore upon came empress in 1917, and Rastafari was named regent, so and heir apparent to the throne. Should I go further? Rasta.
Yes, it depends. It depends if you feel like you're adequately
Okay, no problem.
The beginnings. I want to know the beginnings of the man. Yeah.
Yes, bro. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. While Zaditu was conservative in outlook, Rastafari was progressive and became the focus of the aspirations of the modernist younger generation. In 1923, he had a conflict. Somebody, can you mute your mic?
Got you.
Yeah, Akila, what you need to do is turn down your YouTube, because all your sound will be coming from the app that you're on now. So there's no need to listen to YouTube. So if you mute your YouTube or turn it down, that'll be a good favor, a good look. So thank you. Yeah, go for it, Prince.
Yes. In 1923, he had a conspicuous success in the admission of Ethiopia to the League of Nations. In the following year, he visited Rome, Paris, and London, becoming the first Ethiopian ruler ever to go abroad. You hear that? Okay. In 19, he was the first, becoming the first Ethiopian ruler ever to go abroad. In 1928, he assumed the title Negos, that means king. And 2 years later, when Zadito died, he was crowned emperor, November the 2nd, 1930, and took the name of Haile Selassie, mighty, that means might of the Trinity. In 1931, he promulgated a new constitution which strictly limited the powers of parliament from the late 1920s on. Haile Selassie, in effect, was the Ethiopian government. He was the Ethiopian government. And by establishing provincial schools, strengthening the police forces, and progressively outlawing feudal taxation, he sought to both help his people and increase the authority of the central government. When Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1935, which was a sad year, Haile Selassie led the resistance, but in May 1936, he was forced into exile. He appealed for help from the League of Nations in a memorable speech that he delivered to that body in Geneva in June 30, 1936. With the advent of World War II, he secured British assistance in forming an army of Ethiopian exiles in the Sudan. British and Ethiopian forces invaded Ethiopia in January 1941. British and Ethiopian forces invaded Ethiopia in January 1941 and recaptured Addis Ababa several months later. Although he was reinstated as emperor, Haile Selassie had to recreate the authority he had previously exercised. He again implemented social, economic, and educational reforms in an attempt to modernize Ethiopian government and society on a slow and gradual basis. In Ethiopia, the Ethiopian government continued to be largely the expression of Haile Selassie's personal authority. In 1955, he granted a new constitution giving him as much power as the previous one. Overt opposition to his rule surfaced in December 1960 when a dissident wing of the army secured control of Addis Ababa and was dislodged only after a sharp engagement with loyalist elements. Haile Selassie played a very important role in the establishment of the Organization of African Unity in 1963, real Pan-African that. His rule in Ethiopia continued until 1974, at which time famine, worsening unemployment, and the political stagnation of his government prompted segments of the army to mutiny.
All right. So, can I just ask a quick question? Sorry, Ezra, the passage that you put in the private chat, are you saying that this piece was in the same text that Prince was reading from?
Oh no, I'm saying that text, yeah, that it's missed a bit of the history.
Yeah. Do you want to read that part of the history that he missed? What is that? Do you want to read that for us?
Okay. Yeah, I'll read it. So, sorry. Wait. I'm saying it. It says in 1913, however, after the passing of Menelik II, he was the emperor's grandson, Lij Yasu, not Tafari, who was appointed the emperor. But Yasu, who maintained a close association with Islam, never gained favor with Ethiopia's majority Christian population. As a result, Tafari became the face of the opposition. In 1916, he took power from Lij Yasu and imprisoned him for life. The following year, Menelik II's daughter, Zaditu, became empress, and Tafari was named regent and heir apparent One second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just add that?
Yeah.
That's the point at which he is granted the title Ras. So before this point, he's Lij Tafari. Lij is a title. Yeah? When he becomes the Prince Regent, is when he becomes Ras Tafari.
And Ras means what?
Head. Yeah. So it's a title within the Ethiopian monarchy for a particular standing of princes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
He's a head prince.
Basically,
head creator.
so at this point, he is he is operating. He has a very important role within the government. So effectively, Empress Zawditu has bestowed upon him a whole heap of responsibilities to do with the administration of the government. You know what I'm saying? So she's not like a ceremonial leader just standing there, but in terms of a lot of the day-to-day activities of Wagwan, a lot of these things are on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
So like, I mean, from like what I'm reading is I want to establish, are we saying, or is this passage saying that Tafari, I hope I'm not disrespecting anybody, Tafari was not the actual legitimate heir to the throne?
That is the narrative of some people, but the reality is that in any society that has a monarchy, because I mean, in the same way that some people might argue that Elizabeth is not the rightful heir to the throne.
Yeah, you know what it is, Jez. When is it Menelik II who died with no children?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, yeah, because he had no heir. Yeah, basically, one had to be decided kind of by the people.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So,
like, naturally, if you don't have children, wait. Let me just read this little piece again that you put in there.
Yeah, no. What it is, bro, is that when Lij Yasu took the thing, there were many people in the court itself, among the royals, that didn't think he was sufficient for rulership. Yeah.
Who was that? Who was that?
So there are many people, but
no, you have to talk facts, bro. Who can I research?
I'm saying Zawditu would have been one. There's a obviously Tafari Makonnen would have been one, but I'm saying that generally speaking, my understanding is, and again, I'm not an expert on the politics of this.
So let me ask you something down to earth now, yeah?
Yes.
When a man identify you as Rastafari, because remember you said he was crowned in 1930, right?
Yes.
So when a man identify you on the street as a Rasta man, how do you then tackle that to say I'm not a Rasta man?
I don't. No. But
so do you follow fully Rastafari tradition though?
Let's come back to that in it. But because right now, I ask about the history of the thing in it. So what I'm saying is that Mijaku was not considered fit for rulership for a number of different reasons. Islam thing being one, and apparently he wasn't very manageable in terms of how he related to other members of the court, and so he was basically deposed. And as a part of that, the
what action deposed him? How did they do that?
The constitution that's written, the Ethiopian Constitution, 1955.
They writ him. What did they do? They writ him out of the throne.
The constitution said if you're sick or having any form of illness that doesn't allow you to sit on the throne, then the next in line would have to sit on the throne in your behalf.
But he wasn't sick or had any illness, was he?
Yes, he did say he was sick, and he's
from that was provided. It seemed to me that the reason he was deposed as the rightful ruler and legitimate heir to the throne of Menelik II was because he maintained a close association with Islam, and he didn't gain favor with Ethiopia's majority Christian population.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It would make sense.
Is it because he was Muslim or because he was sick?
No, because he's aligned with the people of the nation, isn't it?
Sorry, can I just say? You have to remember that the emperor in Ethiopia is closely linked to the runnings of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Yeah. So
And you have to,
one of the titles for the emperor is defender of the faith.
yes.
So when you are not a part of the faith, you put your position in jeopardy, because that's a part of the role you have to play. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to find.
Okay. I mean, so you guys, I mean, I'm gonna have to be the advocate if there is no if there's no other advocate here. I don't want to have to take that position, because I think it's kind of obvious for me to do that. I do it all the time. But yo, is that, like, realistically, do you think that's a fair reason to depose, to interject the lineage and the succession of the throne, like, because you don't like his religious affiliations? Is that legitimate? Is that fair? Because I would say that this makes Tafari an illegitimate successor to the throne.
No, but you know what it is, Jeds? You know what it is? Because, like, the Menelik didn't have no heirs of his own yet. Like, basically, before he died, when Tafari's dad died, Menelik took him under his wing. So basically, Tafari was like an understudy of Menelik anyway. Like, when Menelik's died now, and they're looking for a new replacement, who's going to be more suitable? Somebody who's been under Menelik's wing, who's a part of the faith, or some next guy who's on some next thing?
His grandson. Let's not call him the next guy. It's his grandson. He's a rightful heir to the throne.
But he died.
It's not rightful. He is rightful because he's the next in line of succession, and that's how the throne of Ethiopia was dealt with, right? Through blood and right. Can I just wait? Yeah, don't keep saying Jedi. Can I just confirm that is right or wrong? The throne of Ethiopia was until then decided via
through the bloodline, but not through like son to son to son to son. It's not.
This is what we need to make clear. Okay.
But can I also say though, because to say illegitimate, it might be overstating the point, in the sense of the fact that if the royal family has processes that are legitimate for removing monarchs. We have to prove that they went against their own laws to do so. From my understanding,
thank you for clearing that up, my brother.
From my understanding, like if you're supposed to have a certain role within the church, and you're not in the church, then that's the grounds that they use. And we have to remember that it's not just Tafari and Makonnen that was involved in this thing. Like they were members of Menelik II's court. Yeah, who were not for this guy, you know what I'm saying, for the just, you know what I'm saying? So basically a movement developed against him, and Tafari and Makonnen was a part of that movement. Yeah,
he was the opposition,
You're making a good point so far. Should we move on? Should we get to the point? Because look, so we get to the point where, because I think a few people have wanted to challenge the legitimacy of Tafari's reign as the emperor of Ethiopia, or the king of Ethiopia. I think we can move past this point now. What's the next stage in history? So he's now in, and now what goes on?
He was crowned emperor in 19. He was crowned. He took on the name Rastafari in 1930 when he was crowned emperor of Ethiopia. So hence why most people are called Rastafari, because we see him as our father. Yeah, but not everyone.
As your father, you see him as your father. Would you please explain?
Not everyone see him as, like, I see him as my everything. As when the Bible speak about God, or when anyone speak about God, he's talking about Rastafari as the father.
Sorry, can I speak? Stop, Rala.
All right.
That's good what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris.
You're on. Introduce yourself, brother.
Bless you, Rastafari. Malcolm Genna, it's the Ethiopian Orthodox Christmas. My name is Akila Kadan. What I want to say is that basically the throne itself, like Prince was trying to say, that the throne itself is a biblical throne. It's a Davidic lineage. So I can't, basically, the connection between their belief system, the moral standards, the politics, how one conducts oneself, is all connected.
Yeah.
So a man can't just come in, a pagan, like you could be a pagan in Ethiopia, worship a tree or whatever. You could be a Muslim, you could be a Jew, you could be any religion, but to sit on the throne is from a lineage, from a certain bloodline, it's from certain ethics. So man can't just come into the throne as a Muslim. You can be a Muslim in the country, but you can't rule the country as a Muslim because it's against their religion.
Fair enough.
So it's stemming back from something ancient, from the Kebra ancient traditions.
From the beginning,
it's not even so it's not personal that Liji Yasu was dethroned. It's not personal. Obviously, he was behaving erratically, killing loads of people, but it's not personal that he was dethroned.
Can you go a little bit into the killing lots of people, because that was going to take me to my next point of why he ended up getting life in prison.
So what it was said in the autobiography of His Imperial Majesty is that Liji Yasu, like, he was running around and he was basically, like what I said, he was killing people like recklessly. So then that was one people thinking, you know what, like,
who wrote this autobiography?
His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie.
He wrote it himself.
So yeah. So he was saying during the time the autobiography of Haile Selassie.
Simple.
Okay. Yeah. So he's saying that basically the brother Liji Yasu, because obviously they're all related, and so the brother was killing people and stuff like that. He even tried to get His Imperial Majesty killed, because also to go further back as well is that before His Imperial Majesty was born, there was prophecies pertaining to him. So people already believed that he was going to be the emperor long before he was even born. So because when you look at the time that he was born, they looked at the stars with 1892. So they said, okay, that's the lineage, that's the time of an emperor. In terms of, like, you look at, for the Chinese perspective, for the dragon and stuff like that, that's the time of an emperor. And then the month that he was born, July. Yeah, but what they don't only look at the Ethiopian Orthodox Twilight.
You're dealing with some Chinese.
No, what I'm saying is they don't only deal, like, you see the Magi when they went to see Jesus and they came to see, they looked at the stars, and that's how they were able to locate him. They looked at the stars, and there was the three wise men, or how many wise men, 2 or 3. They looked at the stars and then they were able to locate where he was. So same with when His Imperial Majesty was born, they looked at stars and they said, okay, man's born in July, he's going to be a Leo. I mean a lion. So it's likely that he's going to be an emperor. And even when he was born, they said Lady Yeshimabet, his mother, needs to separate from him for him to fulfill prophecy. He needs to be separate from his mother. So only his father was around him, raising him. Obviously, his father died quite young. But then just to quickly touch on something else, even a Muslim brother was saying, if you check a DVD called Man of the Millennium, a Muslim guy said that when he will come, he will become the leader of Ethiopia. So there was a lot of prophecy pertaining to who this person, before he was even Ras, when he was still Lij, people thought he was going to be emperor. They weren't sure, but that was prophecy pertaining to him. So a lot of people were fearful. Yeah. So
this is definitely, this story here is definitely one of supernature. This is a supernatural story we're dealing with.
Yeah. So basically, they looked at, like, the time that he was born.
Can I confirm that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say supernatural though. I would say mystical. I wouldn't say supernatural. Because if you,
for the audience, I'm going to say that this, the circumstances surrounding Haile Selassie being the emperor and being the inspiration behind the Rastafari movement is definitely not something that can be dealt with without dealing with the mystics, magic, supernatural entities.
Beyond human reasoning,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. For that reason, I'm going to put this in the religious box.
Okay, it's religious and political. It's connected. But
I was going to say, I wouldn't say you can't understand it without that element. That's the element.
Both political and religious.
It's connected. Yeah, it's one for them. It was one. You know.
In Isaiah 9 verse 6. Yeah.
Oh, the government shall be upon his shoulders.
It says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." Christ was never called those names when Christ was on earth.
Yeah,
Christ was never called the Prince of Peace.
We can also.
Okay.
I think we can go
you're replacing Jesus with Haile Selassie when you're reading these passages.
No, I think because we don't want to go like in terms of like Jesus versus Haile Selassie. We definitely don't want to be doing that. What we want to say is that from a Rastafari perspective, we don't see the division like how you do. So when we say something, you'll be like, no, that's Jesus, and we'll be like, we don't see the division. So you understand it's not going to be the same. But when we say is this, what we say is that.
Can I confirm? Can you have belief in Rastafari without a belief in Jesus being of the same supernatural nature?
Yes, you can.
I believe in a secular Rastafari. Yes.
How?
You can.
You see,
I don't want to preempt